Have you ever wondered what you'd do if you won the lottery? Pay off debt? Travel the world? What if winning wasn't just about the money, but about getting the ultimate revenge? This is the story of how I went from being the family outcast to the one holding all the cards. My name is Clara, and just a year ago, my life was completely different. I was always the black sheep of my family. I didn't want to be a lawyer like my dad, or a doctor like my older sister, Amelia. I was a painter. For them, that was the ultimate disappointment. They called my passion a hobby and my dreams unrealistic. The arguments were constant. It felt like I was living in a pressure cooker. The final blow came when I refused to accept a sensible office job my father arranged for me. He stood in the living room, his face red with anger, and told me that if I couldn't respect their wishes, I wasn't welcome in their home. My mother just stood by, silent. Amelia even smirked, saying I was finally getting what I deserved for being so difficult. So I packed a small bag, my art supplies, and walked out, the door slamming shut behind me. I was officially disowned. The first few months were brutal. I was working 2 part-time jobs, one as a barista and another cleaning offices at night, just to afford a tiny room in a shared apartment. I was exhausted, lonely, and scared. I barely had enough money for food, let alone art supplies. I called my mom a few times, but she'd just tell me to apologize to my dad. My sister would send me smug texts about her latest promotion or her fancy vacation photos. They wanted me to fail, to come crawling back and admit they were right. But their cruelty only fueled my resolve. Every spare minute I had, I painted. I poured all my pain, my anger, and my hope onto the canvas. It was the only thing that kept me going. One Tuesday morning, on my way to the coffee shop, something told me to stop at the corner store. I rarely buy lottery tickets, maybe once or twice a year for fun. But that day, I had this strange feeling. I used the last $5 in my wallet to buy a ticket, choosing the numbers based on random dates that meant something only to me. I shoved the ticket into my pocket and completely forgot about it. Life was too busy to dream about what ifs. The week went on as usual. Steam, coffee grounds, dirty floors, and the constant ache in my feet. It was Saturday night when I found the crumpled ticket in my laundry. I almost threw it away. Curiosity got the better of me, and I pulled up the winning numbers on my phone. The first number matched, then the second. My heart started pounding. The third, fourth, fifth, they all matched. I checked it again and again. It couldn't be real. I sat on my lumpy mattress, the phone shaking in my hand, staring at the screen. $50 million. Tears started streaming down my face, but they weren't tears of sadness. They were tears of shock, of relief, of a wild, bubbling feeling I couldn't name. I was free. The first thing I did after claiming the prize was not to buy a sports car or a mansion. I quit my jobs. I walked into the coffee shop, handed in my apron, and thanked my boss. I did the same at the cleaning company. The freedom was exhilarating. Then I hired a financial advisor and a lawyer. I wanted to be smart about this. I didn't want to end up a statistic. I bought a beautiful loft apartment with huge windows and amazing natural light, a painter's dream. I filled it with the best canvases, paints, and brushes money could buy. I finally had the space and the means to create without limits. Then I started planning my revenge. It wasn't going to be loud or destructive. It was going to be quiet, elegant, and devastating. I knew my family's biggest weakness, their obsession with status and appearances. My sister Amelia was chairing a major charity gala for the city's elite. It was the social event of the year, and I knew my family would be there, networking and showing off. This was my stage. I found out the main attraction of the gala's charity auction was a centerpiece painting donated by a famous local artist. Through my lawyer, I made an anonymous offer to the charity organization. I would donate double the painting's value, but on one condition: My own painting would be the centerpiece of the auction, and my identity as the artist would be kept secret until the very end. The charity, seeing the massive donation, agreed immediately. The painting I chose was one I'd started the night I left home. It was raw, emotional, full of dark colors and a single defiant streak of light. I titled it "DISOWNED" the night of the gala arrived. I didn't just show up, I made an entrance. I wore a custom-made emerald green gown that shimmered under the chandeliers. I had my hair and makeup professionally done. I looked nothing like the girl in the stained apron they remembered. I walked in and heads turned. I saw my family across the room. My father's jaw dropped. My mother looked confused. Amelia's face was a mixture of shock and pure envy. They had no idea I was even invited, let alone how I could afford to be there. I just smiled and walked past them, not giving them a second glance. The auction began. When they unveiled my painting, a hush fell over the room. The auctioneer described it as a powerful, anonymous piece from a mysterious and brilliant new talent. The bidding started high and climbed rapidly. My family, wanting to look good, started bidding. My father, in particular, was determined to win it. He wanted the prestige of owning the night's most talked about piece of art. He was in a bidding war with another man, and the price soared. Finally, the auctioneer shouted, "Sold," to Mr. Harrison. My father beamed, looking around for applause. Then the host took the stage. "And now," he announced, "we are honored to reveal the artist behind this magnificent work, DISOWNED. Please welcome Clara Harrison." I walked onto the stage. The silence in the room was deafening. I looked directly at my father. His proud smile vanished, replaced by a look of utter horror. My mother's hand flew to her mouth. Amelia looked like she had seen a ghost. I took the microphone and simply said, "Thank you. This painting is about finding your own light when others try to leave you in the dark." As for the prize money from this auction, I will be matching my father's winning bid and donating it all to a charity that supports homeless youth to help those who have been cast out by their families. The room erupted in applause. I had not only exposed their hypocrisy on the city's biggest stage, but I had used their own money and their own desire for status to do it. They couldn't say a word. They were trapped. They had paid an exorbitant price for a painting that was a monument to their own cruelty, and I had turned the entire situation into a philanthropic triumph. Leaving that gala was one of the best moments of my life. I didn't need their apology. I didn't need their acceptance anymore. My success on my own terms was the only validation I ever needed. They had tried to break me, but instead they made me unbreakable. Sometimes the best revenge isn't about getting even. It's about getting ahead and showing them that their rejection was the best thing that ever happened to you. Thank you so much for listening to my story. If you've ever felt like an outcast, remember that your worth isn't defined by anyone else. Keep pushing for your dreams. Don't forget to like and subscribe for more stories about turning life's challenges into massive wins. See you next time.